Imagine spending like $1,000 to make your home smart, right? Only to realize your Google thermostat and your Apple light bulbs are just actively fighting each other in the background.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we've all been there. It's the absolute definition of a fragmented ecosystem.
It really is. Like, for years, that has been the totally frustrating reality of the smart home. You buy into this promise of a unified, context-aware environment, but instead...
You end up standing in the rain.
Exactly. Standing in the pouring rain, waiting for your Bluetooth door lock to wake up while your phone just buzzes with like 50 identical motion-detected alerts because a tree branch blew in the wind.
Right. The industry has been teasing interoperability for a decade now. But we've essentially been trapped in this tug of war.
Yeah, between maintaining local control of our own hardware and getting different platforms to actually communicate.
And of course, dodging companies that are just trying to lock us into their proprietary cloud subscriptions.
Always the subscriptions. But looking at the developments this week, it feels like the invisible plumbing of our houses is undergoing a massive and honestly highly secretive overhaul.
Yeah, it really is.
So welcome to Smart Home News. In today's deep dive, we are unpacking the foundational layers of the smart home that are, well, quietly maturing. We've got a lot to cover.
We really do.
We're digging into a critical under-the-radar update to the Thread protocol. Then we are looking at the sudden influx of natural language AI into smart cameras from both Apple and Amazon.
Which is huge.
Huge. And finally, we'll break down new hardware releases from Schlage, Blink, and Nest, where, incredible convenience is suddenly colliding with some very steep hidden costs.
Yeah, because we are witnessing two very distinct parallel tracks this week. Like, on the back-end infrastructure side, the protocols are finally being forced to play nicely together.
Right.
But then on the front end, the interfaces you and I actually interact with every day, they're undergoing a total artificial intelligence transformation.
So let's tackle that back-end plumbing first, because frankly, without it, none of the flashy AI stuff even matters.
Completely agree.
I'm looking at reports spotted by Matter Alpha and 9 to 5 Google, indicating that Apple and Google are quietly updating their smart home streaming devices to support Thread 1.4.
Yes.
And this is currently rolling out to compatible Apple TVs in the tvOS 27 developer beta. Plus, the Google TV streamer is receiving it through a software update. Now, I know on the surface, Thread 1.4 sounds like incredibly dry technical jargon.
It does, but it is arguably the single most important update to smart home infrastructure we will see all year.
Really? The whole year?
Easily, because to really grasp the impact of this, we have to examine how Thread was previously, just malfunctioning for the average user.
Okay, lay it out for us.
So Thread, at its core, is a low-power wireless mesh networking protocol. It's the foundational pillar that the entire Matter interoperability standard runs on.
Right, the whole mesh concept.
Exactly. The promise of a mesh network is that instead of every device talking to one central router in your house, your smart plugs, your bulbs, your sensors, they all pass the signal through each other.
Creating, like, a highly resilient web.
Right.
Okay, hold on, though. I'm a bit lost. If Apple and Google both use the exact same Thread protocol, why wouldn't they just naturally talk to each other under the previous version, Thread 1.3?
You would think they would, right?
Right. What is stopping a Google display from passing a signal to an Apple TV?
It comes down to how these devices connect the Thread mesh to your main Wi-Fi network.
Yeah.
To do that, you need a device acting as a Thread border router.
Okay, so like a bridge?
Exactly. Your Apple TV acts as one, and your Google TV streamer acts as another. But under Thread 1.3, these border routers from different manufacturers hoarded their security credentials.
Wow, they just refuse to share.
They absolutely refuse to share their network keys, which are essentially the cryptographic passwords required to join the mesh.
So it's like having two different delivery companies operating in the exact same city, but they absolutely refuse to share the same map.
Or drive on the same roads, yeah.
Right. So they're forcing their drivers to build duplicate parallel roads right next to each other.
That is the perfect way to visualize it. Your Apple TV would create an isolated Thread network for your HomeKit devices, and your Google device would stubbornly create a completely separate parallel Thread network right on top of it.
Which is just crazy.
It defeated the entire physical advantage of a mesh network. I mean, it caused wireless interference, it reduced the range of your devices.
And if you had a smart plug stuck in the middle, what, it just had to choose one network and ignore the other?
Exactly.
Which means Thread 1.4 is the update that finally, forces these companies to share the road.
Precisely. Thread 1.4 introduces standardized credential sharing, so it forces those different border routers to securely exchange their network keys.
Oh, that's brilliant.
It really is. Now, the Apple TV and the Google TV streamer act as universal bridges to the exact same single unified thread network.
They're finally building a universal highway system.
Right, and this makes the mesh larger, significantly faster, and far more resilient to dropouts.
I mean, I love the sound of that. I really do. But I have to ask, is this actually the magic bullet? Because we've been burned by the whole Matter and Thread will fix everything hype train so many times.
Oh, sure.
Are we still dealing with growing pains here?
We are definitely still in the growing pains phase. I mean,
Yeah.
the protocol syncing up in the background is a massive technical achievement, don't get me wrong. But the hardware in people's homes still needs to physically receive these firmware updates. Furthermore, the platforms, Apple, Google, Amazon, they still have to actually implement the user interface for this credential sharing.
Right. So it happens smoothly without the user having to, punch in crazy hexadecimal codes.
Exactly. But fixing this back-end mesh is the prerequisite. It's the only way companies can confidently build the next generation of features on top of our home networks.
And that leads us perfectly to the front end, because once the plumbing actually works, the way we control these devices can finally evolve.
Yeah, the fun stuff.
Right. While the protocols are syncing in the background, the interfaces we stare at every single day are getting a highly visible AI overhaul, because both Apple and Amazon announced massive updates to their smart camera ecosystems this week.
And honestly, the camera experience has been begging for this kind of overhaul for a decade.
It really has.
The baseline interaction for anyone with a smart security camera has always been scrubbing through this endless, tedious timeline of motion triggers.
Oh, it's the worst. You're just hoping to spot the actual event among the noise.
Right.
It's a completely broken user experience. You get a push notification that says motion detected. You wait for the app to load, the video buffers, and it's literally just the shadow of a cloud passing over your driveway.
Or a bug flying past the lens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But this fall, Apple is injecting Apple Intelligence directly into HomeKit Secure Video. And this is active in the developer betas for iOS 27 and tvOS 27 right now.
Which is a huge shift.
It is. They are introducing highly descriptive alerts, AI-powered notifications, and natural language video search. So you don't have to scroll anymore.
You just type it in.
Right. You can just type or ask, show me when the delivery driver dropped off the package. And the system actively hunts for that specific visual context.
That's incredible.
Oh, and they're also finally bringing long-awaited energy reporting to the Home app, which is, a great addition for tracking the power usage of all these interconnected devices.
Yeah, that's a nice bonus.
Yeah. But Amazon is making a very similar pivot on the AI front. They are rolling out a free software update for the Echo Hub.
Right, I saw this.
Yeah, they are completely scrapping the original interface that launched in early 2024. They're replacing it with a denser, highly customizable layout designed to surface much more smart home data at a glance.
Okay, but what about the cameras? Well, the critical feature is the integration of Ring AI's video search. It functions almost identically to Apple's new system. It offers natural language search for your camera footage paired with Alexa Plus camera event summaries.
Summaries? So it actually textually describes what happened in your yard.
Exactly.
Wow, so the endless scrolling timeline is just dead.
Pretty much.
Both major ecosystems have independently decided that searching by natural language is the new baseline, but to me, this introduces a massive friction point and, frankly, a bit of a privacy concern.
Oh, absolutely.
If our cameras now require complex machine learning models to know the difference between, a plastic bag blowing in the wind and the dog digging up the flower bed, how does that actually work under the hood?
That's the million-dollar question.
Are we sending raw, unencrypted video feeds of our backyards up to a cloud server somewhere to be analyzed?
And that right there is the defining trade-off of this generation of smart home tech. You are trading a degree of simplicity for a reliance on incredibly heavy computing power.
Because the little camera can't do it itself.
Right. To parse a natural language query and map it to a visual event requires machine learning models that simply cannot run on a tiny battery-powered camera processor.
Okay, so where does the processing happen?
Well, this is where Apple and Amazon's architectural philosophies completely diverge. Apple has historically built its ecosystem around local, secure processing.
Right, the Home Hub.
Exactly. HomeKit Secure Video relies on your local Home Hub, your physical Apple TV or HomePod sitting right in your living room to run the AI analysis locally on the video feed.
Oh, I see.
Only after the local hub tags the video does it get end-to-end encrypted and uploaded to iCloud.
Meaning Apple servers and, Apple's employees mathematically cannot see your footage.
That is the architectural guarantee, yes.
Right.
But Amazon, conversely, leverages its massive AWS cloud infrastructure.
Because they have all that server power.
Right. Ring AI and Alexa Plus are incredibly capable because they can pull from Amazon's broader, continuously updated machine learning models in the cloud. But the mechanism requires your video events to be processed on their servers.
Wow.
Yeah, you are actively trading strict local privacy for the sheer analytical power and speed of Amazon's cloud intelligence.
So you've got these massive companies requiring more of your data or demanding you buy their specific local hubs just to make their cameras smarter.
Basically, yes.
It really highlights how vulnerable we are to the business models behind the hardware, which honestly brings us to the actual physical devices launching this week.
Yeah, let's talk hardware.
Because great AI software is completely useless if the hardware strategy physically traps you.
Yeah.
Let's look at the front door. Schlage is launching the Sense Pro Deadbolt on June 29th.
This is an interesting one.
It is a $399 smart lock, which is a very premium price tag, but it uses ultra-wideband technology, or UWB.
And this is a profound shift in access control. For years, the industry relied on Bluetooth geofencing.
Right.
Your lock was supposed to sense your phone's Bluetooth signal and unlock as you approached. But Bluetooth relies on a metric called RSSI, or Received Signal Strength Indicator.
Which is basically just a guess.
Right. It just guesses how close you are based on how loud the radio signal is. And that signal fluctuates wildly if your phone is in your back pocket versus your hand, or if your body is blocking it.
Oh, we have all done the weird, awkward dance at the front door.
The hip bump.
Yeah. Shifting our weight, pulling our phones out, waiting for the deadbolt to finally wake up and realize we're standing right in front of it.
Exactly why Bluetooth locks feel unreliable. But the Schlage Sense Pro uses their converged technology, which leverages UWB.
And UWB is different how?
Ultra-wideband doesn't guess based on signal strength. It measures the actual time of flight of the radio waves.
Time of flight?
Yes. It calculates exactly how long it takes a pulse to leave your compatible iPhone or Apple Watch, bounce off the lock, and return.
Oh, wow.
By constantly measuring that time of flight, the lock calculates your exact distance, your walking speed, and your physical trajectory.
Wait, trajectory?
It knows you're purposely walking up the pathway toward the door at 3 miles per hour. And it times the deadbolt to retract seamlessly the absolute millisecond you arrive.
Speed and trajectory. That is fascinating. It's moving away from just, is a device nearby, to what is the human actually doing in physical space?
It's genuine context awareness.
But again, you are paying $400 for the privilege.
Context-aware hardware is undeniably the next evolution. But right now, yeah, it is priced as an absolute luxury.
Now, if you're listening right now and thinking, well, I'm not spending $400 on a single door lock, I want a deal. Let me stop you before you jump on the Prime Day sales.
Oh, boy. The Blink bundle.
Yes, because there is a massive bundle from Blink right now, and it perfectly illustrates where convenience and hidden costs collide. For $166.99, Amazon is selling a Blink battery doorbell 2K+, 5 Blink outdoor 2K+ cameras, and a sync module core.
And if you just look at the spec feed, the value proposition is incredible.
It looks amazing.
You are getting 2K video resolution, color night vision, massive 140-degree fields of view, and Blink's signature power efficiency. They are claiming those outdoor cameras can monitor your yard for up to 2 years on just a pair of standard AA batteries.
2 years is wild. But here is the massive catch. The bundle includes the sync module core. The core version of their hub lacks a USB port and fundamentally cannot save local video, period.
Yeah, that's the trap.
If you buy this 6-camera bundle, you cannot record a single second of footage locally out of the box. You are forced to either go buy the upgraded $49.99 Sync Module 2 separately, or you get trapped into paying an $11.99 per month subscription fee for 60-day cloud storage.
It is the classic razor and blades business model applied to home security.
Exactly.
The upfront hardware cost is artificially lowered because it is subsidized by the expectation of your recurring subscription revenue.
Right. And if you refuse to pay
the monthly fee, the free tier only provides live viewing and basic motion text alerts. Without a way to record, those 5 cameras effectively become digital peepholes rather than a functional security system.
It's just exhausting. Contrast that with what Google is doing with the Nest Cam with Floodlight, which is on sale for $179.99 right now.
A completely different approach.
Totally different. The raw specs are slightly lower. It's 1080p with a 130-degree field of view. But the critical difference is the processing mechanism. It handles the AI alerts for people, vehicles, and animals directly on the camera's internal chip.
Local processing.
Yes. And crucially, it gives you a free 3-hour video history right out of the box. You do not need to enter a credit card or start a subscription to pull up a video of who stole your package an hour ago.
Furthermore, it is engineered for local resilience. The Nest Cam features a built-in backup battery.
Oh, I love that feature.
Yeah, if your home loses power or if someone deliberately cuts your Wi-Fi, the camera continues to record locally to its internal memory, logging up to an hour of high-priority events.
Which is huge.
That kind of local fallback is a massive architectural advantage for a device designed to protect your home.
It really is. And honestly, when you are trying to weigh the upfront cost of a subsidized Blink system against long-term subscription fees or, trying to figure out if that new UWB Schlage lock actually integrates with your specific local hub, it gets incredibly overwhelming.
Oh, completely. It's a minefield out there.
And if you're trying to figure out which devices actually fit your setup, smarthomecompare.com can help you compare smart home products by ecosystem, features, compatibility, and integrations before you buy. It is just a fantastic resource to ensure you don't accidentally buy into a hardware trap.
Because the hard truth of the smart home is that the hardware you purchase dictates the software ecosystem you are forced to live in. You must ensure your investments are genuinely interoperable and won't be bricked if a company decides to pivot their platform strategy next year.
Which brings us to the lighter side of the industry.
Thankfully.
Because getting out of those proprietary traps is finally becoming a reality for everyday consumer goods. The standards we discussed earlier, like Matter and Thread, are finally trickling down into affordable indoor tech. I want to look at what Govee is doing with their indoor lighting.
Yeah, Govee has built a reputation for aggressively undercutting premium lighting brands like Philips Hue, offering comparable colors and brightness at a fraction of the cost.
But historically, they required you to use their proprietary app.
Exactly.
But right now, the Govee Table Lamp Classic is on sale for $60. It's a portable, rechargeable smart lamp. It gets up to 30 hours of battery life.
That's solid.
It offers adjustable color temperatures from a warm 2700 Kelvin to a cool 6500 Kelvin, and it pushes about 500 lumens. It's a mood light. It has AI-generated lighting effects. It syncs to music. But as you alluded to, the most important spec on the entire sheet is the Matter support over Wi-Fi.
Right. And that Matter integration fundamentally changes the value of the device. If you've ever asked your voice assistant to turn on a standard Wi-Fi bulb, and you sit there in the dark for 2 agonizing seconds while it thinks.
It feels like an eternity.
That is the Cloud Hop. Your voice command travels to Amazon's servers, which pings Govee servers, which sends a signal back down to your router, which finally tells the bulb to turn on.
And you're just standing there like, please, I just want to read my book.
But because this Govee lamp supports Matter natively over Wi-Fi, it bypasses the Cloud Hop entirely.
Wow.
It communicates directly and locally with your Apple Home, Google Home, Amazon Alexa, or Samsung SmartThings Hub right out of the box. You don't need a proprietary Govee bridge.
You just scan the code, right?
You just scan a standard QR code, and the device exists locally on your network. The latency drops to milliseconds. This is a perfect example of advanced smart home architecture becoming available to more people without requiring them to be network engineers.
It really is the dream we've been chasing for years. An affordable, portable device that just natively works. No mandatory hubs, no forced subscriptions, just hardware that listens to your local network.
It's refreshing.
So when we pull all these threads together, what is the major takeaway from this week's developments?
Synthesizing everything we've analyzed in this deep dive, we are witnessing the smart home transition from a tinkerer's hobby into a highly cohesive, context-aware environment.
A real ecosystem.
Exactly. At the lowest foundational level, Thread 1.4 is repairing the back-end mesh, forcing border routers to share credentials and build a robust, unified local network.
Right.
At the software level, Apple and Amazon are aggressively deploying natural language AI to make the mountains of data our homes collect actually searchable and useful.
No more scrolling timelines.
And at the hardware level, manufacturers are leaning into advanced local connectivity whether it's Govee utilizing Matter to bypass cloud latency, or Schlage using ultra-wideband time-of-flight sensors to physically map your approach to a door. The intelligence is moving from the cloud down to the edge and directly into the physical space around us.
It is a massive technological leap forward, but, it leaves me with one final, slightly unsettling thought.
Oh, what's that?
As our physical houses get better and better at calculating our exact walking speed and trajectory, and as they use advanced machine learning to parse natural language queries about our daily routines, who is ultimately going to demand access to that context?
That is the big question.
Right. If our homes know exactly when we leave, how fast we walk, and what our pets are doing, how long until that smart home data is subpoenaed in civil lawsuits? Or how long until home insurance companies start demanding access to your local AI event summaries to adjust your premiums based on your living habits?
Yeah, that's a chilling thought.
It is something to seriously mull over the next time your door magically unlocks before you even touch the handle.
Because the battle for interoperability is ending, but the battle for who owns the context of our private lives is really just beginning.
It absolutely is. Well, that wraps up our deep dive for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you found this episode useful, please take a moment to rate the podcast and leave us a comment on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It really helps us out.
We really appreciate it.
Until next time, keep your networks local, and we'll catch you later.